We're going to add some extra camber to our JCW with a nice set of Millway Motorsport top mounts. So this brings the last part of the JCW upgrade, and that is with a set of Millway top mounts, as I said only a moment ago. So these obviously replace the standard top mounts, and the main reason for that is to generate camber. And you might think, well, why do I need camber? Well, Sam is going to tell you a little bit more about that shortly, but I thought I'd just showcase the parts in the first instance, and more than anything just say this is going to be the last video that we'll be doing, at least for the time being, last video of upgrades for this JCW before we actually go back out on circuit. So I'm really excited. This kind of finishes everything off that we've been working on over the last 9 months, just to get this car ready for track and to showcase all of the upgrades that you can do. So if you've just tuned into this video now, there's a whole bunch of videos for the process of up to date of everything we've done with this car. So I'm really excited to get this final piece of the puzzle on, because this will mean that we get a little bit more grip out of our car. And as said, stay tuned to hear the reasons why. Sam's a very good explainer when it comes to talking about geometry. He's the master. So these are going to be installed. We're then going to change the actual geometry and setup of the car to make use of that. And it's going to be a little bit more set up towards a fast road track day vehicle rather than just a road based geometry setup. So that wraps up my part, at least. I'll have a chat with you guys at the end, but for the moment, let's get these ones razzed on. Honestly, I'm buzzing. I can't wait to get back out on circuit. Let's get these ones on the car.
So as Dan has already said, the aim of this series is to prepare our car for the track. Now, if you've been paying attention, what you may have noticed is that when we last took it out at Brands Hatch, the front tyres basically lost all of the writing on their sidewall. And what that tells us is, as we flew over the first right-hander, which is Paddock Hill, and put all of the weight of the car across the left-hand side, it was rolling the front tyres over to the point that it was wearing on the sidewall. Now, what we need to try and change to avoid this happening when we go back is front camber. So the whole idea is to try and keep the bottom of the tyre as flat as possible to the tarmac, which gives the greatest amount of contact across the width of the tread. Now, as the car is put through its paces on track and the weight of the car is moved and the G-forces lateral load is applied, it then rolls the tyre over, which exaggerated will then tip the tyre in at the bottom and start to lift the inner edge of the tyre up, reducing the grip on the ground. So what we want to do is to tip the top of the tyre in, which is to give it negative camber, which will then reduce some of the contact in a straight line, which might allow us a bit more top speed, but that's kind of irrelevant. What we're really interested in is the corners. So then when we go into the corner and the lateral load is applied, what will happen is we'll end up in a situation where the wheel is almost vertical, or hopefully so, which will then result in the widest amount of contact area at the bottom of the tyre as we go around the corner. So that's what these top mounts are for. They're going to allow us some camber adjustment, of which there is none factory. The factory spec for this car is about 1/2 degree of negative camber, which is close to none. So it's only 1/2 degree away from vertical at the moment, which is why it's rolling over so much when we're out on track. Hopefully with these mounts we might be able to achieve somewhere in the region of 2 to 2.5 degrees of camber, which will better suit the car for track use, particularly at Brands. So without further ado, I'm going to get this Millway product installed under here, which is where the top mount lives. It's going to be coupled with the stock shock absorber and the AST lowering springs that we've got. So these will retain all of the factory equipment apart from the top mount itself. We've got torque settings for all the bolts and so on and so forth, so I'm going to crack into that. Unfortunately, it does mean I've got to take the shock off, disassemble and swap the top mount over. So a bit of a job, but equipped to get it done. So anyone else needing these, we're here for you. But for now, I'm going to crack on and get this car done.
So we're now all wrapped up and finished with the Millway Motorsport top mounts, and it draws us to a bit of an end really, because this has been a big project over 9 months, and as you can see Sam over in the corner of the workshop there finishing after a long hard day's worth of work. This is pretty much complete, apart from smashing it round track, which I can't wait for. That's what we all build cars for, is to go fast. So we've managed to get a good setup with these top mounts. We could achieve just over 2.5 degrees worth of camber in its current setup, but we've decided to dial it into exactly 2.5 degrees, which is what we want for a fast road / track use car. Probably a bit extreme if you're doing lots of road driving, but for our usage this will be perfect. And obviously we've then matched the rear in terms of getting a more balanced vehicle over the cross of the front and rear axle. So that pretty much wraps it up. Again, if you've got to this point in the video, thank you very much, and if you can give us a like and subscribe, it's always appreciated. But the next video you'll see will be this car getting burnt up round track. I mean, that sounds a bit bad saying burnt up, but let's just say it'll be going quickly. So again, thanks for watching, and see you guys on track next time.